Hello and welcome. My name is Martina and you are watching the Knitting Diary, aka Kiknadzemartina. Today I will be sharing a video that I was looking forward to make, especially because I was always watching these type of videos and taking quite an inspiration from them. So this time it will be my turn to make one just like that. In the last year I knitted 14 projects, which is good because I did set myself a goal to knit at least 10 projects, which I actually made it. The first finished project of 2023 was a project that I had on my needles for quite some time, and it was the half and half triangle shawl. It was on my needles basically because it is a lot of stitches. I ran out of the green yarn. By some mistake I did order not the correct amount of the green yarn and I had to switch it for another type. Unfortunately, the acrylic which I was knitting in was discontinued, so I searched for some yarns that are quite similar and I found one from Mayflower. The next project of 2023 was the frog, the also famous frog. In the beginning I made a frog on 2.5mm needles, and from that project came Edward the Frog from Frogminster. I do have a few photos of them and I do not have him on me. My brother has him back in Slovakia. After that, I did kind of fall in love with the pattern of the frog and I decided to switch up the yarn and make it a little bit more interesting. The frogs were knitted, I think, on 7mm needles, so they came out nearly 24 centimeters in length. Going on with the, toy making in 2023, I did make a pig. I think a lot of you know this pig because it's a pig from a fairy tale. A lot of you may know. And when I was a little kid, I loved all of these fairy tales from this, realm. And I decided to knit the piggy. After all of those toys, I thought it would be a nice break to make something else. And I was granted this wish because a sister of my friend wrote me on Facebook and asked me if I could knit a sweater for her boyfriend. So he is a huge motorcycle fan, and there is this old type of motorcycle called Ariel. And he wanted a sweater with the sign Ariel written across his chest. I knitted up this beautiful sweater. It is a self-draft pattern, so I do not have any... Well, actually I did not write anything down, so even if I wanted to replicate this, I could not. Because I do not remember how I knitted this. I do remember that it's knitted in the round from bottom up, and I just divided for the sleeves and just continued with the front. Then I did the back. I sewed them up at the shoulders and I did the collar. Both the collars and cuffs are double folded, and after I finished the sweater I actually forgot to make the color work of the sign Ariel across the chest, so I had to use double stitches. I had to embroider the sign Ariel on the sweater, and actually it came out quite great. Another sweater that I started was one that I wanted for a long time, and I had this type of yarn in my stash I wanted to use for something and I didn't know what for to use it. And I paired an Diablo a yarn from Hobbi with a brushed acrylic yarn from Teddy. So both of them are on the most part from acrylic. And I made this Mohairy sweater, which has the most beautiful color I've ever seen, and I do love this sweater extremely. I enjoyed knitting up this construction. Once again, it's self-draft construction. I just made a little swatch and counted how many stitches I needed for my size and just knit it. After that, I decided to switch it up again, because at this point of the year I was knitting on sweater, and I did sign up for a test knit approximately a month. Florence, I did finish it in the Shawl before the deadline, and it was something that I loved and despised at the same time, because the pattern is written in chart, it's charted, and you do really have to follow it through if you want to knit the piece as it's intended to be. You change all of the colors, you change up the motifs, because the motifs are always changing. You do not have two motifs in the same color. All of them are different. As the year progressed, I did start a few projects, but unfortunately I could not finish them in the year 2023. Also, there was the Christmas coming, and I knew that I wanted to make some Christmas presents. Also, it was getting quite cold, so I decided to knit a hat for my husband, which was just a basic ribbed hat. I knitted this one in Flora from Drops. Well, and since I knitted a hat for my husband, I also knitted a hat. So I knitted one for myself in brushed alpaca silk, once again by Drops. One of the presents that I intended to gift, but I decided against it because my mom said that she would not wear it, so I still have it. I do have a little niece, so I knitted her the Teddy Bonnet. I knitted it for 6 to 9 months, and I knitted this, well, I think in 2 days. But my sister tried the hat on to my niece, and it was still a little bit too big, so I think she will wear it this winter and also the next winter. She looked really cute. Another project that I intended for a gift but never gifted was an ear warmer or a headband. It's once again, it's knitted in the Drops brushed alpaca silk, and it's a double knitted stockinette. So the sides do not curl up, but it takes quite a lot of yarn and quite a lot of time, because you just have to knit all of the stitches basically twice, all of the rows twice. Those were all of the knits that I managed to finish in the 2023. I still do have some leftover projects. I think some of them you can see up on the sofa. There's quite a lot of them. But I will finish them. Maybe not now, maybe not in the next week, but I will make sure that I finish them. Some of them are the Geo-Gradient shawl you can see there. It's also the Endless Winter, this Christmas sweater I so wanted to finish in the 2023, but I could not. Because I didn't have enough time. I didn't start soon enough, so it was my fault. It's no problem. It was my fault. It will be ready for the next Christmas season. Don't worry. I also have I have another half and a half triangle shawl on my needles. I have a lot of toys on my needles. When it comes to the year 2024, I have huge plans. I would like to take videos kind of differently, and I mean like by the project, I would still make the monthly wrap-up videos, but I would just not post every week as I used to. Instead, I would make the videos by the project that I was making. So for example, if I do a head, I will make a project about a head. And I think that with every project that I make, I should learn something new. So that might be quite fun. I would also like to take up at least, I say at least one test knit. And I think I will be doing these during the summer, because for me summer is the time that I do have to like force myself to knit because it's too warm. So when I'm making a test knit, when I'm knitting up on a test knit, it forces me to, well, do good with the deadlines, if you know what I mean. I also have some plans for me and my personal knitting patterns that I do finally want to put on a paper. We have some quite nice tiles in the kitchen, and every time I cook there, I am just so inspired to put all of the patterns, well, on the paper and actually knit something with them. So this will be one of the projects that I do want to make in this following year. I also do want to make a sweater, which I have in my head for a long time, but I'm not sure I will get to this in this year because I just set so many goals for myself. Yep. In 2024, I would also like to, well, kind of get rid of my stash. So I do want to knit from my stash as much as I will be able to. Of course, I will not be limiting myself, so I can buy yarn for example, project that I need to either finish or knit. If I have something in my mind that I do want to knit, I will be buying yarn if I do not have the correct amount of yarn. But it doesn't mean that maybe I will not use the same type of yarn I do have in my stash. I might just pick something from my stash and just buy the rest of the amount that I need. Also, I would like to knit more vintage patterns. If you watched some of my videos, you can see that I did knit some, well, vintage patterns from drops. A sweater, the Christmas sweater that I'm also knitting, the Endless Winter, which I did not manage to finish, and I made a video about it. Maybe you watched it. It's also one of the vintage patterns from drops. Well, these days 90s are vintage, so it is a vintage pattern. But I would love to knit up more of the vintage patterns. The problem for me is that they are not always, well, probably never, graded up to my size. So I would have to actually grade them up, which might be quite fun, and I think I will get to it. I do have at least one sweater, one vintage sweater in my mind that I do want to knit. This time it's not from drops, and it is, well, a cabled sweater that I was, yeah, eyeing up for quite some time, so I might give this one a go. But I will have to size it up. So once again, I wish you a happy new year. Have a blessed 2024 filled with a lot of knitting, a lot of love, a lot of health and everything you need. And I will see you the next time. If you like the content, please do not forget to like, comment or subscribe. I am really thankful for any and all of the feedback. Have a nice day. Bye! Another project that I do When it comes to the 2024 videos,